escucharte, así es, así es, así es. Transformando tus oídos, lo digo otra vez, música que edifica, con esencia en tu vida. ¡Hey! Estás escuchando Radio Únete, Esencia PR en la casa. ¡Súbalo!
Es martes por la noche. Tu programa de política e información social comienza ahora. It's Tuesday evening. Your award-winning political and information show, Listen to Me, starts now. Bueno, mi gente, este es tu show, Listen to Me. Yo soy JJ Rodriguez, and this is the award-winning show, television, online radio. You could hear us on the radio, you could hear us on TV. It is new media. A través de radiount.net y en streaming, BBN Info en YouTube. Bueno, mi gente, hoy es mayo 22. Today is May 22nd, and all this rain has finally gone away, or hopefully. There's a cyclone somewhere. I don't know if that's Schumer trying to pass some gas. I don't really know. But listen to me. Estamos muy interesados en lo que está pasando en Puerto Rico. Y este mensaje va para toda la gente en Puerto Rico. This message goes to everybody in Puerto Rico. There has been a budget approved. $600 million. $600 million to run a government of a people that is impoverished by Hurricane Maria. I've said it a lot, and I'm going to say it again. Lo voy a decir y lo voy a seguir repitiendo. Mi gente de Puerto Rico, ustedes escogieron la estadidad. You voted for statehood, but yet Congress has not done nothing. Why? Blocked by the Democrats in Congress. Schumer, déjate estar montando en un ciclón. Stop riding cyclones and start doing your job. Because people, American people, are hurting in the island of Puerto Rico because you're not doing your freaking job. So listen to me. This is what I have to tell you. Listen to the voices of the people. You know that there is ghost senators and ghost congressmen for the territory of Puerto Rico already in Washington, D.C. Why are you not sitting them down? Why are you not always have to fight what's going on to be the dissenting voice? That is not democracy. That is going against the fundamental truths of democracy. You were placed in that political position by the people, and you're disregarding the people. Even American citizens that fought in wars that couldn't vote for the president of the United States. They in 150 years, they've never had a voice or a vote in the United States Senate. They have one voice without no vote. In a resident commissioner. Very good resident commissioner, by the way. Jennifer Gonzalez, saluditos mi corazón. My dear, you have a hell of a job, but we have to keep on pushing our agenda to make statehood true. I don't know. There may be a solution. Let's let go of California and add Puerto Rico. Keep it in 50 stars, you know? If you don't want to add more stars to the flag, let's let go of a state or two. See what happens. Or let's add 2 states. Instead of 51 stars, let's have 52. Let's see what happens with the American Virgin Islands. Make them a state. Something has to give. Because with $600 million, con 600 millones de dólares, no se corre un gobierno. You cannot run. We will be seeing cuts in pensions. We will be seeing cuts in labor. Eso no puede ser. Now, I go with my monologue on the other side of the spectrum. I don't know if you guys, y como ven, tengo la casa llena, I have a full house. And I don't know if you guys heard in the news that leftist Telemundo, leftist Univision, there was this spokeswoman that said that President Donald Trump, called illegal immigrants criminals. I want to make you very, very clear, and I'm going to say it in English, and then I'm going to say it in Spanish. That is false. He was referring to a very dangerous gang, MS-13. And it was taken out of context. It is taken out of context. ¿Qué tipo de reportera es esa? And I'm not going to say her name, but she is of Puerto Rican descent. She claims that the president of the United States calls illegal immigrants criminals. ¿Quién puede creer que el presidente de los Estados Unidos va a llamar a los ilegales, inmigrantes ilegales, criminales? No lo son. They're hardworking people that want to do the best for their families, that they're coming from impoverished places in Central and South America, and they're crossing the borders because they need to work. The problem is, again, the Democrats that do not want to solve the constipated immigration laws that we have, because I have to say the truth. Listen to me. Las leyes inmigratorias sufren de un estreñimiento masivo. They're highly constipated. And we have to try and fix those laws to move the log of legal immigrants without letting criminals come into this country. I am so sorry. You mean to tell me that Africa, Spain, France, they enforce their immigration laws and we have to just open the doors because Schumer and Pelosi...
even Mexico.
Yeah, even Mexico enforces their immigration laws. Do we have to understand that the hate Trump media, both in English and in Spanish, doesn't want to do anything to promote anything good that President Donald Trump is doing? So you mean to tell me that him trying to negotiate with Kim Jong-un, yes, he's a dictator, yes, he has killed people, but he wants to denuclearize the Korean Peninsula. The leftist, no Trump media wants to downplay that. They don't want Puerto Rico to become a state. They want to downplay that. They want to only show images of Donald Trump throwing paper towels at Puerto Ricans. We needed the paper towels. We needed the paper towels. None of the people there that got the paper towels complained. None of the reporters from the no Trump media, both in English and in Spanish, heard anybody complain about not by getting the paper towel from the president. But they still always wanna slam the president. And we have to stop this rhetoric. We have to stop this negativity. We have to start moving the country toward a posture where we can thrive. And the president is doing that. They're not showing the crowds. No están diciendo sobre las multitudes de gente que va en Puerto Rico. Ninguno de las emisoras televisivas hablan sobre las multitudes que están atrayendo el presidente Trump. The crowds that are going to see Trump, the ones that cannot get in, they're not being reported in Puerto Rico. Why? Because they don't want Puerto Ricans to know the truth. I'm a very passionate man. Yo soy un hombre apasionado. No me enfoco con nadie. I don't get mad at anybody. But it's getting to a point with what's going on in Puerto Rico that you have to get beyond passionate. And yo le exhorto a todas las personas que me estén escuchando a través de la internet que hablen con sus senadores, hablen con sus congresistas. If you're Puerto Rican living in the United States, talk to your senators because you have that right. Talk to your congressmen because you have that right. Exercise it. Tell them that the people, the 3.3 American citizens in Puerto Rico will cease to be second-class citizens, do not want to be second-class citizens no more. Ya basta de ciudadanía de segunda clase. Go for it, my brother. Pull it.
Hey, let's not forget that recently in the news, we saw that the Puerto Ricans that came here from Hurricane Maria and Irma are now they're rallying to deny them their vote should they be here to vote for president again.
But that's impossible. That's unconstitutional because once a person comes either from Puerto Rico and registers to vote here in the United States, they could vote. They could vote.
Well, they're trying to stop that.
No. If it's any of the trio of Democratic Congress people that we have in Central Florida, and then again, Darren Soto, Val Demings, Stephanie Murphy, ¿qué rayo han hecho por nosotros? What the hell have they done for us? Especially Darren Soto, who claims to be the savior of all Puerto Ricans. Oh,
he looks good in pictures.
I still cringe at when they asked him why didn't he bring generators to Puerto Rico on his first trip. He said, "Oh, I couldn't bring generators because I needed a seat for my aides." That's what he said.
Really?
Yeah. And then where Governor Scott was in Kissimmee, our jaws dropped when he said, "Oh, lie, do whatever you have to do to be able to get help." Val Demings, right now, that Congresswoman, Val Demings, she was pumping money into Jerry Demings' mayoral campaign. What, 1 point something millions?
1.3 million so far.
All right.
Which is gross.
So where's that bacon coming from? That smells like bacon to me. It's not the bacon that we give the dogs. Bacon strips, no. That's bacon. Somewhere that bacon is coming to be able to grease that campaign, and it doesn't have to happen. Bueno, mi gente, voy a terminar mi monólogo. That was my brother Gus Martinez. He gave some comments. Something's happening with Venezuela and the United States. Right now, before I left, the ambassador to Venezuela was kicked out of Venezuela. Top diplomat. Because the United States said that the election of Nicolás Maduro is not legit. Huele a caca. No es el que juega soccer. And that's my monologue, and I'm sticking to it. Now, my friends, here and listen to me, the award-winning, we have Mr. Danny Villazon. We also have Bobby Lance with us here today. Bobby, I say hello real quick. All right. How you doing, brother?
Doing great. Buenas noches.
Buenas noches,
Señor.
buenas noches, buenas noches. And Danny Villazon, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, gracias.
All right. Bobby, I'm going to go with you in a moment, but I'm going to jump right into Mr. Danny Villazon. Danny Villazon, usted es un abogado que quiere ostentar para ser juez en el condado de Osceola, ¿es verdad?
Yes, I'm running for Osceola County Judge.
Fantastic. Danny, yo tengo aquí mucha experiencia que tú has tenido, más de 26 años de experiencia en el área de criminal, de bienes raíces, administrativo, leyes juveniles. Indícanos un poquito, por favor, de tu experiencia.
Sí, mucho gusto. I think I have the most diverse experience out of all the candidates and the most experience. I've worked in the public defender's office. I was the supervisor of the public defender's office for Mr. Robert Wesley. I was the chief attorney for the Florida Real Estate Commission, prosecuting on behalf of the state of Florida. I'm also the board attorney for the Osceola County Board of Realtors, and I have a statewide private practice. I've tried all types of cases. I've argued in all circuit courts. I've argued in administrative courts, in the appellate courts of the state of Florida. I'm a proud graduate of Florida State University Law School, and I really believe that I am the most experienced and diverse candidate with the most amount of diverse experience than the other candidates.
In this type of election, are you going against a sitting judge, or this seat is open?
This seat is open. Judge Draper retired, so there's two other candidates running for the seat. I looked at my credentials, and I thought I was more qualified than the other candidates running for judge.
And are the other candidates of Hispanic descent, or you're the only one running?
I am the only one. My mother is from Utuado, Puerto Rico. I'm very proud of that. My father is Cuban. My wife is Puerto Rican. My mother-in-law is Puerto Rican. So I'm very proud of my heritage. And I think it's important that the judiciary represent the community, and that the community is diverse, and I think the judiciary should be diverse also. And
I do appreciate, Mr. Villazon, you being here on Listen to Me. And you're right. Osceola County is one of the counties with the biggest explosion of Puerto Ricans coming from Puerto Rico and from other parts, from Chicago, from New York, and from other parts. Talk to me about your community involvement. There is an acronym called OSCAR. Talk to us about that involvement. What does that mean?
That is the Osceola County Board of Realtors, and they do a lot of work in the community. I've been their board attorney for about 15 years now. They do a lot of charitable work in the community. I'm very involved with the Osceola County Board of Realtors. We're in the process of establishing a nonprofit foundation so we can give back to the community. You probably know that there's a lot of realtors in the state of Florida. There's over 360,000 licensees. I always tell people you can't go into an elevator without running into a realtor, but they do a lot of public service. The Florida Realtors do a lot of public service. They're very involved in public housing. We had many members of our board of directors recently in Washington, D.C., talking about public housing and better housing opportunities, first-time home buyers, and things of that nature. So they're very involved. I'm very proud to be involved in the Realtor organization.
And Mr. Villazon, when is the election?
The election is August 28th, and it's a primary election, and it's critical. If you really want to have a voice in the community, you have to vote. And it's such a cherished right to have, as an American citizen, that right to vote. I speak to a lot of students. I do justice teaching, and I stress to the kids how important the Constitution is and how important it is to have a voice and how proud you should be to be an American and have that right, because a lot of people don't have that.
And Mr. Villazon, I'm going to ask you this question not as a candidate. I'm going to ask you this as a citizen.
Well, I have to be very careful here because the judicial canons, this is nonpartisan. I really can't express any political views other than that I would enforce the law as
per its patent. And I understand that, Mr. Villazon, but you have indicated that you have a heritage from Puerto Rico.
Yes.
And you just indicated that it is an inalienable right of all Americans to be treated in equality.
Yes.
Do you, as a citizen, not as a candidate, your humble opinion, do you feel that Puerto Rico should, if the Puerto Ricans have decided, like they have decided, Congress should enact some sort of a law to bring Puerto Rico into the fold? Would you think that would be something that of equality?
It's hard for me to comment on that, especially with the restrictions I have as a judicial candidate. I believe in democracy, and I believe the people's will is expressed through the vote, and whatever the vote is, it should be followed. That is the will of the people.
That is the will of the people. Okay. Well, that is you took a very complicated question and you answered it perfectly. Mr. Villazon, do you have a website that you would like to issue out for those people do you accept volunteers to help you in your campaign?
Yes, we've been very fortunate. I've had lots of volunteers. My website is Villazon, VILLAZON.com. That's you can get information about my campaign on that. You can get information about my experience. And about my background, and if you want to volunteer, you can sign up there.
And Mr. Villazon, are you planning any other engagements to either attract? As a judicial candidate, can you raise money for your expenses, or
you can? I cannot solicit directly. It's kind of awkward for a judge asking somebody from a potential judge asking for money, so that is prohibited. But I am having a kickoff event at Three Sisters in Kissimmee, Florida, which is a local wine bar there tomorrow, Thursday, May 24th, from 5:30 to 7:30. I have a committee that is putting that together.
All right, so through that and you'll be there, so they'll be able to interact with you, the candidate, right?
I like to be there. I like to meet everyone, discuss my qualifications, because I truly believe, and not just because I am of Hispanic heritage, that I am the most qualified person for the job. It's not because my mother's Puerto Rican, that I lived in I spent my summers in Puerto Rico. It's because I have 26 years of experience. I supervised, I've always been promoted to supervisor, and I think it's important, especially at the county level, where you have a lot of new attorneys that really need mentoring, and they need to learn professionalism, and I think I could give that because I've supervised many attorneys over my career.
All right. Well, Mr. Danny Villazon, I have here in your paperwork villazonforjudge.com. Is that the right one? Villazonforjudge.com. Yes. And the election is August 28th.
Very important.
Mr. Villazon, I would like you to stay because we'll continue to pitch your website in the most. Okay. But now I have to say hello to my other guests. ¿Cómo estamos? How you doing, Bobby?
Doing great. How are you, JJ?
All right. And Mr. Bobby Lance, you're running for District 3, just like Mr. Gus Martinez is also.
My friend Gus.
But we're still in that quagmire of waiting for deadlines to come in. It's like the race that has never launched out.
Exactly.
Because we're waiting for Commissioner Pete Clarke to either decide, finally decide. Because he's waiting for that deadline, and then it's like the race that has not yet begun, but begun, right?
Yes, sir.
And tell me, you're doing a meet and greet fundraiser where?
We're doing a meet and greet fundraiser May the 30th from 7 to 10 p.m. I believe it is, at the Orlando Brewery, which is right across, if you know where the old train station is downtown, not the one exactly downtown in the hospital district. It's on the west side of the track, so you have to go around onto Atlanta Avenue, I believe it is. And it's going to be a fundraiser and also a meet and greet and a time for everyone to come pick up their signs.
Good. And Bobby, again, this is your moment. I've given Gus his time to give me his vision. I want to hear your vision. Why District 3? Why run?
Well, let me tell you real quick who I am. I'm Bobby Lance. I'm born and raised here in Orlando. I grew up in a pretty rough area, of which my dad was a blacksmith. I'll show you a picture here. I just pulled it up. I don't know if you can see it for the cameras.
Oh,
He was a true blacksmith, 6'6", old school type of guy. We lived in the apartment behind my dad's business. My dad, it used to be an old church, and the church went defunct, so my dad made it into a structural steel business. He was a blacksmith, and we'd come home from school every day and work in the business. And we would go to Sunday school Sunday morning and Sunday night in church, and on Wednesday nights. And summertime, we worked just like the regular help did. So just before I turned 16, my dad allowed me to leave home, reluctantly, because he was losing a free laborer. And I was ready to go. I had my blinders on and my focus. I knew what I wanted to do and when I wanted to do it and where I wanted to do it. So I continued on through high school at Oak Ridge High School as a senior class vice president. I went to Oak Ridge, after Oak Ridge, Sanford University at Baptist College, and it was when I was in graduate school. I met my wife Cindy. I was doing the MBA JD program, and Cindy's stepdad had an A&W restaurant, so I bought the restaurant in 1980. Been in the restaurant business for 39 years. But I'll tell you, during that period, from leaving home, I know what it's like to be homeless. I've been homeless. I know it doesn't look that way right now today, but I know what it's like to not have anything to eat. My passion, my true passion, and I know that my friend Gus is the same way, is help others. To know how to help others. I've been blessed with the talent to be able to navigate through different situations and different businesses and even government entities to be able to help someone like Joanne Rice with the Pine Castle Safe Neighborhoods Association. I've been able to help her get some things done. I talked to you about Pastor Marcos Diaz here earlier.
Diaz, yeah.
I was able to meet him downtown in Orange County to be able to help him navigate through some situations. Also, Alan Hirschkorn, excuse me. He's helping a lady, a Puerto Rican lady, by the way, whose husband had just passed away. He was a war hero, and he passed away, and she can't even get a roof on her house.
Wow.
So I'm helping Alan get that taken care of. We met with the Veterans Association here last week. We believe we've got it done. But the reason I know how to do these things is because my whole life, that's all I've done is help people. And I sat on 3 different boards with Orange County the last 20-something years. The Board of Zone Adjustment, worked myself up to acting chairman. That's to help people with special exceptions and variances. And then I was on that board for 6 years. The Community Action Board, which I've been on for 10 years, which was started in 1964, the War Against Poverty, with President Johnson at the time. President Reagan was able to put some teeth to it. Community Action Board helped stop the cycle of poverty. We do have a lot of success stories. I've an officer on that board, so I know what it's like to help others. I was actually helped by that board when I first left home. And also the Navigational Board, the Conway Navigational Board. I've been on that board as a chairman and vice chairman for the last almost 20 years now. So I know the environment. So just those 3 Orange County boards alone, I have spent right around 4,000 hours of volunteer time. Now, go on to the business end of it. I have A&W Restaurants. My wife and I have A&W Restaurants for 39 years. We were owned at a period of time by Young Brands. I sat on their J.P. Morgan banking board. We had millions and millions of dollars to loan out to people to help people to get started in business and to be able to continue in business and grow their business.
I do apologize. Is this a type of like a SBA loan or something different?
This was actually funded. It was about $25 million at the time. It was funded by Young Brands. There were different banks around the world that would put money into it. They were guaranteed loans, and you had to qualify for them. And as sitting on that banking board, we as a board, there were about 15 of us that would say, we would review all the applications and say, okay, we'll give you so much for so many years and work it out. It wasn't SBA, although I've had 3 SBAs, and I know how difficult it is to get it.
Is.
And that process needs to be streamlined, especially after the Puerto Rican folks that have come over from Puerto Rico over to Florida, and the ones still in Puerto Rico. I told you this earlier. If this would have happened, if Hurricane Maria would have hit Central Florida like it hit Puerto Rico, I would be out of business today.
Yeah.
I have a few locations. I would be totally out of business unless we were able to get low interest or no interest loans. These processes need to be worked on, and they need to, at the county level, the state level, the U.S. and everywhere, they need to be taken care of. Unfortunately, that's not something we will do as an Orange County Commissioner, but it's something that we can help work on to help process. But not only with the boards that sit on banking boards, the marketing boards, the transportation boards, the ideation boards, which helps develop the design of restaurants and different businesses. But on the local level, I've sat on many 501c3 boards. With one of the current boards I sit on that we meet on a regular basis is, we believe, like anybody does in history, you have to have a place for history for people to see how things were done. Because if you don't know about history, you're going to repeat history, and sometimes that's not a very good thing to do. So I sat on the Pine Castle Historical Society. I sat on the Pine Castle Pioneer Days, and many other boards over the years. If you just take, and all of them volunteer, by the way, you take these boards and you add them up, that's around, and it's hard to add these things up, and this does not include church, by the way. That's something you just don't add up. That's something between me and the Lord.
Amen.
It's just, the other boards are around 6,000 hours. So you add that up with the boards I've sat on with Orange County boards, that's around 10,000 hours. It could be a little bit more, a little bit less. But that's a lot of hours of volunteer time, never being paid to sit on any of these boards. And I've got the passion. How do I say this? That I know when I first left home what it felt like to be able to do things and get things done. I was blessed with the energy, and I was also blessed with the fact that I knew that if I took it to the Lord, I was not going to do without, and I've never done without. I know that that's the avenue for me to be able to get things done. But there are so many people out here, not just Puerto Ricans. I will represent all the folks in Orange County.
It's important.
And not just Orange County. There are folks calling me every day, not every day, but 3 or 4 times a week, asking me to help them. I had a call today asking me to help them. So what do? I stop what I'm doing, I get on the phone, and I start working on it. And it happens all the time. I had a gentleman, I've never met these people, that called me up last week and said, look, there's a traffic light on Orange Avenue. The signal is too short. The yellow light's too short. What are you going to do about it? And I said, well, let me make a few phone calls. Within 3 or 4 days, it was taken care of. And not just that, it's people have hopes. People have dreams, just like I do, just like you and everybody in this room does. They're losing their hopes. They're losing their dreams. They're giving up. I personally believe that's a lot of the problems why people are giving up and doing drugs, why they're doing alcohol. They come home, they just give up. They don't know how to navigate. They don't know how to get through things or do things.
They've fallen in a routine they can't get out.
Yes, sir. That's my passion.
Dear Bobby,
Yes,
my name
sir.
is Jay. I know that you're a respectful man.
I'm sorry. I
know
grew
that
up in
you're
the South, Jay.
I know.
Jay.
I grew up in the deep South too. I'm as South as you can get. You get any Southerner, you'll be touching water. But my brother,
Yes, sir.
the respect is
Yes,
there.
sir.
The respect
Thank
is
you.
there. But my name is Jay.
Jay.
All right.
Okay.
So Bobby, so all of these fueled your interest to enter this race. You do have the amount of experience. I need to ask you a couple of questions because you say here in your own piece of literature, higher paying jobs in manufacturing and high tech.
Yes, sir.
As a commissioner, how will you bring those in? How will you bring those jobs into here?
It's not easy. The first thing you have to do is you have to have great infrastructure. You have to have great transportation systems. We're working, the county is working, and the state is working on mass transit. Cindy and I have been blessed to be able to travel a lot of places around the world. We were just recently able to go to Hong Kong. That is the only mass transportation system in the whole world that's profitable. The rest of them are all subsidized. I don't think that we would be able to have a profitable mass transportation system in Central Florida, but we need to improve on that. We also need to, not everybody has the aptitude. I truly don't believe I really had the aptitude to make it through college, but I did. Here I am. I made it. you know. But it's not easy. You have to work hard. You have to be hungry. You have to be a hungry fighter. Just like Muhammad Ali says, if you're not hungry, you're not going to win that fight. I personally was able to meet him. We had KFCs years ago. But I tell you, to be able to bring these higher paying jobs for high tech and manufacturing, we need to have vocational schools. People need to be able to have an education in vocation. It could be auto mechanics, it could be air conditioning, it could be plumbing, it could be electrical, it could be so many different things. And they could actually make more money than people that have graduated from college. But that's how you attract. And not only that, you have to have a clean place. You have to have a safe place. You have crime. This crime situation, Orange Blossom Trail from Michigan all the way down to Lancaster is the #1 spot for opioid dealers, and it has to be taken care of.
You understand that Central Florida is among an epidemic of opioid, right?
It's the epidemic.
It's the epidemic.
Yes,
it's
sir.
destroying. It's
Yes, sir.
destroying.
But let me answer that question for you, because I can talk all day about this because it's very passionate. But we're not going to attract these high-paying manufacturing and high-tech jobs unless we clean up our act and we're working in that direction, but there's a whole lot of work to do. And it's so important to have somebody that come in as an Orange County Commissioner to be able to be up to speed as fast as you possibly can. This is only a 2-year term, and in that 2-year term, it's going to take some commissioners, some people that get into that office, it's going to take them a year, maybe the whole term, to be able to figure out what to do. You have to be able to be educated. I haven't just sat back the last 6 months since I've been running for office. I've gone to Metro Plan. I've gone to the planning board meetings. I've gone to the Veterans Association meetings. I've gone to the Citizen Advocacy. I can't even say it today. I'm getting so wound up. But I'm preparing myself for this seat. I've been there. I've still got a lot more meetings to go to. And it's not just being a commissioner. You're not just a commissioner and sit there and fill out ordinances and things like that and approve things and turn things down. You also have to sit on other boards. You sit on the Metro Plan Board. You sit on many different boards, and everybody rotates on and off of these boards. But you also need to know about the boards that you appoint people to. You have to have that education, and you have to be able to know that that person that you appointed that board is going to be able to do a good job. Because if they can't do a good job, it's going to reflect on you. It's going to reflect on the county. We're getting ready to have a situation we haven't had in the history of Orange County, from what I've read. We're getting ready to have 3 new commissioners. We've actually got a new one, Mr. Love, up in Apopka. And there's going to be 3 new commissioners elected, possibly 3. I believe Commissioner Siplin will probably continue to stay in her seat. I know she does a good job. I sat on a board with her, and I really appreciate her passion and her intelligence and her work ethics. So, and we're also going to have a new mayor. We're going to have, how are we going to get things done if people don't have a clue of how to run these meetings? It's not going to be easy.
Bobby, what I wanted to ask you, still in about the higher paying jobs in manufacturing and high tech. Let's say you're commissioner. Would you advocate for high schools to start doing a little bit more vocational training?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It should have. It was there when I was in high school at Oak Ridge High School 45 years ago. What happened? Why did it stop? Why did the vocational? Because you know why? Everybody says, "Oh, our kid needs to go to college." That kid might not want to go to college. That kid might want to be a plumber, and he'd be just as happy, if not happier, working. And someday, as far as I mean, I believe it's 3 to 1 as far as the permits that are being pulled right now. 3 to 1. I believe it's 3 to 1 Hispanics. 3 times more Hispanics that are entrepreneurs want to get in business. We need to simplify. That is, I couldn't tell you how many times I've gone down to Orange County to apply for a business license. You go downstairs, you go upstairs, back downstairs, and back upstairs again. It takes forever. People give up. They lose hope. They don't know how to navigate it. I really think it'd be cool to have a YouTube video on how to apply for a license in Orange County. At the same time, simplify what's going on in the building department, because the restaurants that we've done, I've built most of them. I've taken it from the very beginning all the way through. I've dealt with the zoning department. And
so, Bobby, you're talking about regulations. You're talking about, when you talk about simplifying, how would you simplify? Because simplification means you have to eliminate something, right?
I don't believe so.
No?
I believe streamline it. I do not have the answer yet. I just know that many times I've been down there that it's difficult to navigate through, just like with Pastor Diaz, Pastor Marcos Diaz. He was ready to give up. He's trying. He has 12 acres over there. He's trying to get some of these portables from these school portables to put on his property to be able to help people out. He was told no. And I said, and we walked back downstairs. I said, no, let's don't give up yet. Let's go meet with this gentleman right here. We met with him, and all of a sudden things started happening. It wasn't me that do it. I just knew how to direct and how to. If you one door in my book, if one door is closed, you open another door. Okay. You open the back door if you have to. But that high tech situation, unless we got our act together in Orange County and we know what we're doing and how to do it, and these companies aren't going to come here because they're not going to be confident.
If we streamline the process, we can get there could be some sorts of regulations or items that could be deleted, that could be dropped.
There could be. I want to tell you, with Yum Brands, we as A&W operators, we bought Yum Brands. We bought A&W from Yum Brands about 8 or 9 years ago, 8 years ago, I believe it was. So we have our own destiny. But what I did learn from David Novak, the former chairman or CEO of Yum Brands, is if you see something that works, you steal it shamelessly. So what do? You go to other municipalities, you go to other counties, you go to other state governments, and you look how they're doing things. There are so many different ways of doing things, and you research them. Well, you know what? It might not work for us, but it might also work for us and be a whole lot better than what we're doing right now.
All right, Bobby, we're going to be
Yes,
back
sir.
with you, but now I want to go to my brother Gus because I know that, and Mr. Villazon. One of the questions that I did not ask to you was what was your inspiration to run for the judge position? So we'll get to that in a moment. My brother Gus, how you doing, brother?
How you doing, brother?
How you doing?
Listen to me.
Listen to me.
I'm not gonna survive if I don't say hi to my beautiful wife, Paloma.
Oh, yeah. Paloma,
Honey.
¿cómo está?
I'll be home shortly.
Paloma, for you to know, Paloma was one of the original hosts that was here in the show, and due to her ministry, she went to that full time, but she always is welcome here and when she comes up. And talking about that ministry, brother, you have something on May 25th. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on?
This coming Friday.
Pay attention.
So for the last 8.5 years, all we did was outreach to serve the community, right? We decided it was time to have a little fun. So this Friday, we're inviting everybody to come and hang out with us, have dinner with us, dance. We're going to have live performances. This is going to be at the Showcase in Winter Garden. That's 12,100 West Colonial Drive. You got that? 12,100 West Colonial Drive. It's called the Showcase. Google it if you have to. They're beautiful.
Beautiful place.
The owners are beautiful. They're giving us a shot to pull this event together. All proceeds are going to go towards the families that we are helping here from Puerto Rico that came here after the hurricanes and just haven't found their niche here in Central Florida. A lot of them are staying in the hotels, extended stay places along OBT and 192 corridors. We are just pulling it together. We're gonna have fun. Our people are gonna cook. And the menu is going to be slamming.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't even get McDonald's in a movie for $25 a person. All right, you can't get dinner for your wife or your partner and live entertainment for $40 a couple.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the menu is exotic. I'm not going to reveal it. You have to go there. I'm extremely excited about it. My mouth is watering just thinking about it. If you're going to miss this, I'm telling you, you're going to miss out. We got some beautiful live entertainment going to be donated as part of this thing.
Giovanni El Negro, who was in Bohemia 2, is going to be at the show. There's a couple of people that are going to be singing.
Yeah.
You have somebody from a friendly radio station, online radio station, not TV station. That's going to be the master ceremonies.
Yeah,
right?
but you're going to be the DJ.
Yep. I'm going to be there.
You're going to be the DJ.
Yep. So that's cool.
So for the first time, we're going to do something for just to relax. Have fun. socialize. It's going to be a big difference from what we usually do. Not that we're deviating from our mission or our cause. We're not.
No.
We just think it's time to relax a little bit and have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, have fun.
God's people are allowed to have fun, contrary to belief.
Amen. Hey, Christ himself, and it's in the Bible, he changed water to wine in a wedding. Hey,
Save the best wine for last, though.
Yep, that is true. So if our Savior did that for a wedding, hey, we could have some fun. And Friday the 25th, at what time?
It starts at 7 p.m. We're kind of throwing it out there like an after work party because people react more to an after work party than to a charitable cause, believe it or not. But it is a charitable cause disguised as an after work party.
So, hey.
Great meal, first come, first serve. The capacity of the place, I think, is 350 people, easy.
So let's pack it.
So let's pack it. Let's make sure you say hi to me. I want to give everybody a hug. My wife is not the jealous type, so I can hug everybody who comes.
All right, I'm gonna have to ask that with Paloma. Paloma, es cierto que tú no eres celosa?
No, she is not.
That's
why we get along so well.
And Sandy and I registered for this. We will be at this event as well.
Cool.
Yes.
And we're going to bring a Puerto Rican family with us.
Good. So if you could pass the microphone real quick to Mr. Villazon. You've been very gracious to be patient with us, sir. Sure. My main question now, why run for the judgeship?
Well, it's that.
What inspired you?
What inspired me was I had the benefit when I was in undergrad college. Like you, I had to pay myself through college. I got a job as a county court bailiff at the 11th Judicial Circuit working night court.
Okay.
So I got to meet a lot of interesting and nice new judges to the bench. And I see county court as the people's court. And I think there can't be a higher form of public service than serving as an elected official or as a judge. And I think it's time in my career. I have a pretty successful career. I'm willing to give that up in order to serve the people of Osceola County. One of the main things, I've practiced before judges all over the state, is you have to have the right judicial demeanor. And you have to treat everybody with respect.
Amen.
Justice is blind, regardless of color, race, amount of money. If they have a lawyer, they don't have a lawyer. Especially in county court, where a lot of people do not have a lawyer because the offenses aren't as serious. So my main goal, the main reason I want to be a judge, is I want to be able to go into that courtroom and treat everybody that comes into my courtroom with respect.
Exactly. All right, and you want to hear both sides of what's going on.
Right.
But
fair and impartial, because justice should be blind.
But when did you notice, what inspired you to say, you know what? This judge is retiring. I want to run. When did you consult it with your family? Did you consult with higher power?
to be quite honest, it was kind of a sudden decision. I've always wanted to do it. I've made it all the way up to the governor's office, and they appointed somebody else, but I made it all the way to the top when almost 10 years ago for a judicial appointment. Something I always wanted done because I was inspired by the judges I worked for when I was a county court bailiff. And I've seen judges treat people very poorly. And it bothers me because people need to respect the judiciary. And when they go into a courtroom and are treated poorly, I think they lose respect for the judiciary.
You're right.
So I looked at the people running. I saw my experience, and I thought this was the right time. My kids are in college. I've been a lawyer for 26 years. I want to end my career as a county court judge.
All right. Well, Mr. Villazon, again, you said your fundraiser, your meet and greet, when it is again?
It's meet and greet.
I stand corrected. Yes. Not a fundraiser.
Yes, I want to meet everybody and let them know my experience and credentials. It'll be on May 24th at the Three Sisters in Kissimmee, Florida, starting at 5:30. And since we're of Puerto Rican descent, until whenever. Cuando se acabe la fiesta.
Cuando se acabe la fiesta, se acabe el agua, el refresco, you know what I mean.
I know at my wedding we had people sleeping on the floor at 3 in the morning. So. We brought people all over from Puerto Rico, and it was crazy.
They might have been passed out.
Yeah, they were trying to vacuum around them.
Well, Mr. Villazon, I am very grateful for the patience that you had while we were doing this. You know that we have a full house, but we do wish you the best. And when you are a judge, we hope that you come over. God willing, we hope that you could come to our show and impart a little bit of that knowledge that you've been giving out in the bench. All right.
I hope so. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Villazon. And again, that is villazonforjudge.com. Now, Bobby, I'm going back to you. You had said you had really organized your thoughts, and it was good because Central Florida is in the midst of the biggest opioid epidemic that we've ever seen.
Yes, sir.
Maybe, and President Trump has spoken about this in the New England area, but here in Central Florida, in the land of Mickey Mouse, this and Universal Studios, we're living in two types of societies.
We sure are.
The tourist and the local yokels, which I consider myself, since I've been transported from Puerto Rico to here since 1994. I've been here for a long, long time. I consider myself Floridian. Not a traditional Floridian, but a Floridian itself. Your vision for crime and public safety, Bobby. What can you tell us for that district?
I'll tell you this. We do not, as far as Orange County, I say we, I sound like I already got the job, but as far as Orange County Commission, they do not have the control over the sheriff's department. They do run the jails, but and the courthouses, but they do not run the sheriff's department. The sheriff's department is its own entity. The budget is set. It is approved by the Orange County Commission. But we need to figure out other ways to help that sheriff get things done. We need to strengthen our laws. We need to support our police that are out on that beat every day and every night. We need to give them all the support we possibly can, because it's an endless circle, not just with drugs, but with prostitution. It's to the point that where you put somebody in jail one day, they're out the next day, they're back out on the street, they're selling drugs or prostitution. We need to support, we need to strengthen our laws, we need to strengthen the patrolling, and we need to figure out how to do it. I do not have the answer, but I can promise you this: I will research it tirelessly until I do get the answer and help formulate the answer, because it's not about me, it's about a team. It's about everyone in Orange County, either elected or appointed to a position, to be able to figure this out. But it is definitely a problem, and it has to go away. Not maybe, it has to go away.
Gus, what would you like to interject?
Being a resident of District 3 and serving the homeless and running all over the district, it's not just Orange County Sheriff. It's OPD also.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Our district sits in both. So whoever gets this job has to be able to work with both. Now, we know OBT and the I-4 corridor there, we know that's been a problem at least since I got here. And I got here way back in 2004. All right? As long as I've been living in District 3, that has been a problem. And I'd like to know why the sheriff and the chief have ignored that prostitution and that drug dealing and the human trafficking. There's no reason for us to be number 3 for 3 years in a row in human trafficking, child abduction. There's no reason for it. The prostitution from OBT has jumped over to Cimarron. There's no reason for that. All right, whoever will work together. Bobby and I are friends. I've met a lot of the other candidates. Some I favor more than others, obviously. But should Gus Martinez not be able to raise the funds? Because Gus has always been surrounded by poor people, and I just refuse to bust their pockets. And I'm not going to go take any special interest money. Should I not stay in this race? I know who I favor. I know who I absolutely do not want to see in office. All right? But we, the people, have to elect who represents our best interests. Me, as a minority, if I was going to start a small business, and because I am part of the Hispanic Chamber, and I am part of the Hunters Creek Leads group, I have met with so many business owners, and I'm sure Bobby can attest to this. The hardest thing to survive is probably the impact fees that small businesses are having to pay. They're astronomical and almost unreachable for small businesses. Bobby can attest to that. So whoever sits in that seat has to have a conversation about that, because small businesses employ most of our people in District 3.
Could I interject for
and my brother is right, and yes, you may speak,
please.
but as you interject in this, we will also want to start moving into your lower taxes and responsible budgeting.
Yes,
so
sir.
please, Bobby.
Well, that fits right in. That's a good segue because Gus, as you said, as far as the impact fees, I'm not sure if most people understand, but they have just increased, and I just read about it just a few days ago. The impact fees are increasing for schools and 2 or 3 other levels. So they're not getting simple. They're not getting less. They're getting more. We need less government. We need less taxes. We need a powerful government that helps the people, not hurt the people.
Exactly.
I believe we are hurting the people by controlling too much. And as far as I want to tell you a story. I right down the trail on 18th Street in the trails where I grew up. I still own a piece of property. It used to be, you see Leave It to Beaver down the street, but not anymore. You see the drug dealers and the prostitutions. You do not go down there at nighttime or anywhere close to nighttime. And what a judge told me one time, and I love what you said, sir, about fairness. A judge said, well, we have to have a place for these folks to live.
Yeah.
The prostitutes and the drug dealers. No, we don't. We need to kick them out. We need to put them in jail. We need to. And when somebody is selling opioids that's laced with fentanyl and it kills someone, and I'm going to tell you, yes, sir. I'm going to tell you, I've been to a few funerals just lately of friends and family that have died of drug overdose because of this situation. I'm not going to name any names, but I'll tell you, this lady that we've known, Cindy and I have known for quite a few years, she doesn't know what she wants to do with the rest of her life. Well, I want to tell you, that drug dealer, if they can find out without a doubt that drug dealer's want to do it, they need to have the death penalty. They need to be put away.
Let's not confuse the opioid situation with medical marijuana.
Absolutely.
Right? There was another candidate who made that mistake and just nodding, and he got in trouble, and he's not going to be able to recover from that. Yeah. All right? Because medical marijuana, if you do your research, Orange County has already voted on it, and has, the people have said yes, but there are regulations in place. There are laws in place. For the patient, the doctor, the caretaker, there are very serious repercussions for anyone who violates these things. This is not social marijuana that you go and buy in a nickel or dime bag.
It's not recreational.
This is not recreational at all. Do not get confused by the BS that is being slung around and turning this into a bipartisanship issue. It is not. It's a people's issue. It's for people who are dealing with severe maladies.
Oh yeah, their illnesses,
and it's a medicine. Yeah. It is a medicine. A lot of people don't understand that most of these opioids have a place in medicine. All right, yes. When they're abused, that's something else, and they're being abused, especially by the mentally ill, because we don't have a place for the mentally ill.
Exactly.
So they're self-medicating.
Because it's yes, there's drug dealers out there, but with these opioids, these painkillers, the number one place these minors are getting them from? The filing
medicine cabinet.
Your medicine chest. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So Bobby,
yes, sir.
Let's jump back in.
Let me get it back on the opioids.
Yep, on the
doctors are over prescribing them. They're not being monitored like they should be.
That's true.
And I do agree with medical marijuana. I'll tell you that. That is something that I have seen. A few years ago, as a city commissioner for Belle, I did not agree with it because I did not understand it. I did my research. Now I understand it much more, and I do agree with it. It has its place. It might not be the substitute for all illnesses, but it helps a lot of people. Everybody takes their treatments differently and reacts to treatment differently.
Okay. And how about responsible budgeting?
Well,
how are we going to get that going?
I tell you, that's the easiest one for me. When you're in a restaurant business for 39 years, the restaurant business is the #1 failure rate of any business in the United States. If I've been in that business for 39 years, I can promise you I know how to take a penny and squeeze it and make it squeal. I can get that done.
Because we're talking about government here. Government, they want to pay $40 for a pen.
They do. But I tell you what, they haven't seen Bobby Lance yet. And they're going to, one way or another. And there are ways to get these budgets down. I see waste in government every day. And I don't have the answers, but I tell you, I will research it and I will come up with some possible solutions and work together as a team.
So you're a doer.
I am absolutely a doer, but I'll tell you how I'm a doer. I have had people come up to me, especially since back in December 4th when I decided to run for this office. They say, Bobby, look at all the hours you've spent helping other people. You're a successful businessman. You've done very well. But you would be so much more wealthier if you'd have spent all these times in your business. I said, well, you know what, Danny? I am wealthy right here in my heart. I can tell you, I probably some days spend more than 50%, maybe 60 and 70% of my time in helping other people. Can't do it every day. But fortunately, I have good people. My sons are coming in working the business. I don't have to physically be out there and work the structure. I do executive duties. But I want to tell you what really, really hurts me is when I see our state government, when you sell a house and you have dock stamps, those dock stamps go to affordable housing. They go into a fund. In 2016, it was $270 million in that fund to help affordable housing. In 2016, 2017, there were going to be over $300 million. Well, guess what happened? Our state legislature decided to take $160 million of those dollars away from affordable housing. How are we going to be able to build these places for people to live? I know not only the Puerto Rican family, but all families in Orange County, they are very proud of what they do. They don't want to be given things. They don't want to, they want a hand up, not a handout. They want to be able to afford a home just like you and me and everybody else. And they want to be proud to say they're paying the payments and they have the right paying jobs and they can go to work and feel good and not have to stress. Trust me, I know we all stress sometimes about how we're going to pay these bills. It's just different percentages. So we need to work very hard on affordable housing. And there is an answer, and that is putting the right zoning in the right areas. If Orange County doesn't allow tiny homes, if we need to have tiny homes, we need to build them. If people need to be able to afford.
Tiny homes are way overpriced.
I
agree.
They're what, $20,000 a unit? That's ridiculous.
But that's the thing.
I don't mean the portable ones. I mean the ones built.
And I know, but I am, for one, if they're costing too much, we shouldn't use them. We have to come up with solutions that are cost effective, right, Bobby?
Yes, sir.
Right?
I agree.
So
we've had a housing issue for a long time, long before the Venezuelans came over because of political asylum, long before Puerto Ricans came over because of the hurricane. What do we have? Another additional 350,000 people here.
It's close.
We didn't have housing for them before that.
And another thing, what I question about small homes is, will it have the square footage adequate for a common Hispanic family? Because I do apologize.
No.
So we cannot have a disjunctive in when we planning with this. I agree with you, and I agree with you that we have to do the zoning correctly.
Yes, sir.
But we need to, like you just said, responsible budgeting. We cannot bring something that will increase the price but not solve the problem. You understand?
I understand.
We have thousands of families who are falling into the cycle of landing in extended stay hotels. They can't get out of it because the monthly cost to stay in a extended stay hotel is more than anyone's mortgage.
Sure is.
All right? And these people are making what, 9, 10, 15 bucks at most for a family. They're all living in a small room just like this studio. So you imagine mom, dad, 3 kids, the dog, the belongings. You can't live well. These kids are not getting the rest they need. Then I've personally adopted a total of 3 hotels in our district. The Great Value Suites, the Royal Inn, and the one up by I-4. And the Royal Inn and the Great Value Suites alone, you have over 300 kids who are suffering from food insecurity every single day, right here in our backyard. These kids don't know where their next meal is coming from. I spend a lot of time in those hotels, and unfortunately, they're stuck in that cycle, and they're calling me every single week, hey, I need help with my rent. I wish I could help everyone, but I can't because I'm supporting my nonprofit off of my income and the little bit that people are giving. There's not enough generosity to cover every single family.
That's true.
And there is no housing situation. There's no way to get them out. You can send them to 211 Homeless Services Network, Catholic Charities. They can't cover everybody.
Let me say something. Gus, you didn't know me before I ran for office.
Nope.
I didn't know you. It's so ironic that we're sitting here tonight. I didn't know you were going to be here tonight until a couple of hours ago.
I didn't know you was
if
gonna
did.
be here either.
And you know, but we're both doing.
Yes.
We're both doing the same thing. In my
Because-
restaurant business, we across the street on 192, one of the hotels, there was a family. This has been 6, 8 years ago. A family, a mom, a grandma, 2 or 3 cats, 2 or 3 dogs, and 4 sisters. Eventually, all 4 sisters came to work in a restaurant at the A&W I have at Old Town. But the way you get them out of it is you help them get a job, you work them, you give them flexible hours so they can go to school and get higher education. Every one of them have left. We still have 1 sister because we want them to move up in higher paying jobs and higher quality jobs and become management at hotels and factories and high tech wherever they want to work. That's the only way to get them out.
Bobby, it's you're preaching the American dream, the house on the hill.
Absolutely.
Everybody in America has the right.
I could lose
Mr.
it all tomorrow.
Villazon started what as a bailiff?
Yeah.
Gus, how did you start coming over here?
Well, I got into computers, which is my trade. All right. I was a janitor. I swept and mopped and cleaned women's bathrooms at a technical school in New York when I was 19 years old. I had to go work nights to be able to study days. So with that being said, it's just your desire. You don't have to finish where you started. You don't have to stay stuck. It's what's in your heart.
So Bobby, you're coming full circle. Mr. Villazon is coming full circle. He wants to finish his career as a judge. Gus, you still have much work, even if you do fall within the commissionership or not. Bobby, you too.
I want to tell you, and I agree, Gus, running for office sucks. It really does. And the reason I say is because
Don't tell me that.
It
I
really
want to try
does.
to run for Congress in 2 years.
you have a TV crew. If you're wearing a little sign, they avoid you like the plague. But as soon as you get elected, you're their best friend.
Oh, yeah.
But
Oh,
but
yeah.
we have to go up against each other. I don't like that.
Well, see, the
It-
beautiful
but-
thing about our country is we can run and still get along. We
Oh,
don't
yeah.
have to hate each other because we're
That's
not from the
respect.
same
That's
party.
respect.
Courtesy,
You know,
professionalism.
It's ridiculous. Bobby's a great guy. A lot of the other candidates are great people. Is there somebody I would not absolutely vote for in every single office? If you're taking money from the
big boys,
the companies and the people who are hurting the people, then I ain't for you.
We have 3 or 4 more hours. We can, but I got to tell you one quick thing,
Yeah.
and you're absolutely right. It didn't just happen with Hurricane Maria. About 8 years ago, and like I said, I've been able to grow a business. I've been able to, and I'm a hoarder. We had to move out of 2 or 3 houses because we couldn't live in it anymore because we got so much junk in there. But and Cindy will tell you, and restaurant equipment, and even an old car sitting in my old office. But I was able during the recession. I had to sell a bunch of restaurants off. I was hawked up to the hilt. I had to do it because if I didn't, I wouldn't have made it through the recession. I am a survivor. I've been told that by my uncle and a lot of relatives. And I tell you what, you have to survive. You have to be hungry. But so I was able to buy some rental properties. And when I did, the former late city manager, B. Bateman of the city of Belle says, Bobby, we have this lady over in Fox Hollow with single mom with 2 children, 2 boys. Can you find them a place? Sure. We found them a place. We moved them in. We charged them for the electric and no rent. Right after that, the current mayor of Belle comes up to me just a few years ago and says, Bobby, we have this family over at the hotel on Sand Lake Road. It was a black family, and they had a little girl and a husband, and they weren't working. They were getting kicked out of the hotel. Do you have a place for them? Sure. Put them in the hotel. They stayed there a year and a half.
So you have
Never charged them a penny.
You have that.
I'm giving it back. That's what you're supposed to do.
That's right.
And I know you do it, and I know you've done it, and I'm sure the judge has done it. But this family was able to get a job. In the meantime, they also had
Speaking
another
of
child.
prophecy, you heard him, right?
Speaking of prophecy. Yes, sir.
Well, Bobby, I need you to come back to my show. The 1 hour has gone already. You think you could give me I know that you're busy
Yes, sir.
campaigning and all that stuff, but you think you
Let's
could come to
set
my
it
show?
up. Absolutely. I'd love
All right.
to.
All
You're
right.
a great man, and you're a man of your word.
It is Bobby Lance. It's BobbyLance.com, right?
Yes, sir.
If they want
BobbyLance.com.
information.
Yes.
All right. Mr. Donnie Villazon, thank you very much. That is VillazonForJudge.com. Brother, anything else you want to say before we go?
Mi familia hispana, te amo.
I love you
Sal a votar. Tu voto cuenta. No deje que tu voto se vaya a la persona que tú no quieres que elijas.
Gus, I told you this on the phone the other day with your Faith and Family program that you have coming on, and I know you're having to purchase a stage from Orange County or the city of Orlando for rental. My wife and I would like to present a check for you for $200 to help pay for that, and I'd like to give it to you before we leave tonight. And I know very little Spanish, but I'd like to say mil gracias.
All right. Okay, Villazon for judge in Osceola County, Gus and Bobby. And remember, we're going to keep on here. This is Listen to Me.
Listen
Los
to
amo.
me.
Listen to me.
Alanis Fantasy te ofrece lo mejor en joyería de fantasía, bueno, bonito y barato.